Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. So it has been so long since I post any video. So actually I was extremely busy in my sister's wedding. Yeah, my real sister got married. So from now onwards, I'll be here and keep posting the content. Okay. So as you already read from the title, like today we are going to cover dependency injection in this particular video. So let's move to the screen. Okay. Okay, so today we are going to cover dependency injection. Okay. So what is dependency injection? So dependency injection is a software design pattern, we can say, which helps us to write better software. What is this? Let me write here first. This is your software design pattern. Okay, what it does, it basically allows us to write loosely coupled code which is easy to maintain. So it reduces the hard-coded dependencies among classes by injecting those dependencies at the runtime instead of design time technically. So let me write here loosely coupled. Okay, okay, loosely coupled. Okay, and injecting dependencies at runtime. And why we need dependency injection, like what are the benefits? So this is it basically improves your code modularity, testability and maintainability. So there are three key components which are associated with your DI, dependency injection. Okay, so let me explain one by one key concepts. The first one is dependency and your second one is injection and third one is IOC, which is your inversion of control. I'm not sure about the spellings. Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so what is dependency? So a class or service that another class requires to function. Okay, so I can write here so what is dependency? So dependency, we can say a class or service that another class requires to function. Okay, I can say a class or service that another class requires to function. Okay, then what is injection? The process of we can say the injection, the process of transferring dependency to the dependent objects. Have you seen that doctor has one injection and what is it has medicine inside that? So what he's doing, he's just transferring the dependency to the dependent objects. Just relate with that. Okay, okay, so relate with the doctor. Okay, and the inversion of control. What is inversion of control? IOC container, we also sometimes say. Okay, so this is basically the principle of transferring the control of object creation and dependency management to the container or framework. Like in ASP.NETCore, you have built-in IOC container. which helps us to register and resolve dependency. This is built in C Sharp, ASP.NETCore. Okay. So now there are some benefits of using the DI, like your loose coupling, we can say. Like you are not directly injecting the dependencies between the components, no direct dependencies. Okay. And the second is testability, like while performing the unit testing, what you can mock or stubs the by injecting those dependencies. Okay. And there are many more, like scalability, if you want to swap or extend dependencies without altering the dependent objects or the classes. Okay, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's write some code and see how these IOC or DI works. So let's move to the computer screen. Okay, so I have this directory. Let me go to cmd and open in code. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so let me quickly open terminal here. So I don't know why, but I'm using VS Code from last few days. I don't know, I just want to be familiar with VS Code as well, with the command line and all those, instead of using the Visual Studio 2022. Instead of using the Visual Studio 2022. Okay, so here what you have to do, you have to use .NET new. I want to create one web API -o and just give it a name. And let's give DI playground. So this will create one project for you. Okay, it has. Let me go inside DI playground. Yeah, so the .NET web API project has been created for you here. So here we have this so much in the program.cs. Let me clean this. Let me remove all this stuff. I don't want these all. Let me remove this record here, and let me remove this as well. Okay, so now for the time being, this is your program.cs. Okay, and whatever so now whether you have any dependency that you want to inject in your container, IOC container, that will reside here, like add services to the container. And if you want to inject anything into your request pipeline, that will go inside here. So first let me create a directory called controller, and let me create here one email controller.cs. Okay, so let me quickly give it a namespace of DI. Is that small or caps? Yeah, it is in caps. DI playground dot controllers. Okay, now here I want to use API controller, and I want to define route. Just give it controller. Now public class controller, I want to use controller base. Instead of home, I would like to give it a name as email controller. Okay, and now I want here to make one post request and just give it a name as send email and return okay sent. Okay, so now you can see I just created one controller here, and so here I created one controller, which is your email controller, which is inherited from controller base. I assume that you already know these all controller base and all those stuff. So inside that I created one endpoint called send email, and it is making a post request. I'm assuming there is a data. I'm not creating, just making it very simple for you. And just suppose or assume it contains the request or the data, like whom you want to send an email. So we have created this. Okay, so if we try to run this application, so what do you think that what would be the output? You will get the responses sent or not. Okay, let's do that. So here let me check if this built successfully or not. Yeah, built successful. Let me run this. Oh, we got our application is running on localhost 5155. Let me go to HTTP 5155 instead of weather forecast. Instead of this, we will use our email controller here, and let me try to send a request. Oh, can you see the output 404 not found? Can you make any guesses like why we got 404 not found? Because we have created this controller and we defined the endpoint. It should work. It should work ideally. But why is not working? Because we have created this email controller, but we haven't injected this into our container. Okay, let me explain you with the iPad screen. So we have controller here. This is your email controller, and just suppose this is our IOC container. We are making a request to this, but we are getting responses 404 because inside our application we haven't this. The object creation of email controller has not been done yet. Okay, so how we'll do that? So for that, what you have to do, just stop the application and go to your program.cs. Now here, what you have to do, so here what you have to do, you have to use here builder.services.add controllers. You have defined or inject your controller in IOC container. One more thing, for configuring the route, you have to inject this container or controller into a request pipeline. Okay, HTTP request pipeline. Got it? So for that, what you will do, you will use app.map_controllers. Okay, so now if you will try to run your application, and yeah, it's running. Let me go again to HTTP and send a request. Now it's saying 405 method not allowed because we are making a request to get. Let me change this to post and see if this works. Yep, we got responses sent. But I believe you got the idea how we got this response, because earlier we defined our controller, but we didn't inject our controller inside our IOC container, which is inside our this. We didn't inject. so the object creation of email controller didn't happen. So now we have inject this into our controller, and we have inject into our HTTP request pipeline as well for routing. Okay, so just suppose you want, I don't want this response here directly, I want this from a third party or any service. Okay, so for that what you can do, you can create I email service and give it a name as email service. Okay, and now what I want, let me cut this and use email service dot send a sync. Okay, so I want my email controller, so I want the response must be, I want the response from the email service, not directly here, the static hard-coded response. So let me quickly create one directory here with the name of services, and instead of email email service, let's first go with the email service only. Okay, is my camera screen clear? I don't know why I'm getting some blurry noise there, and like saturation I can say. Okay, so let me go to services and create email service.cs namespace ci playground dot services, and here public class email service, and it will have public string send sync. I'm assuming there would be parameters, so here I would like to here I would like to perfect. Now we have created this email service and we are inside this. Let me fix this by giving the namespace. So will this work? What do you think? Let me take a pause and continue. Okay, so we have created this email service and we injected this inside our email controller. So let me try to run this. Would you like to make any guess what will be the output? Okay, let me build this first. Yeah, build completed. Let me run this. Yeah. So we got here invalid operation exception, unable to resolve service for type email service while attempting to activate DI playground controller email controllers. So which means we have created this but we haven't injected. So what's happening here, let me show you. Let me go to the screen. Okay, so just imagine this is our IOC container, and so this is our IOC container. As of now, it only has the dependency of email controller. Okay, this has this dependency, but now what we are doing, if I show you, inside email controller we have dependency of email service. So what's happening here, from the controller we are making a request here, and what we are saying, we want controller. It is going inside and making some, it does some internal search and try to find email controller has a dependency of email service, but email service object has not been created yet. So what it will pass to that parameter, because email controller is dependent on email service. So here it will not return anything. So for that reason you are getting the error here while attempting to activate or unable to resolve service. So to fix this, you have to inject your email service into the IOC container. It will create the object, and what it will do, it will manage their dependency, object creation, and all of this stuff. You don't need to worry about that. So like here you also have to define your, you have to register your email service as well. Okay, so we have stopped this. Let me go to the container. So here I use builder dot services dot add singleton and use email service here. Okay, so now our email service has been injected to our IOC container. Do we also need to inject into the request pipeline? No, not required. So let me quickly run this and see if we get the output. Go here and click on send request. Yeah, we got the output, send. So what happened there, sorry, so when we were trying to make a request, when we didn't inject the email service, we got the exception, unable to resolve email service while activating blah 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 blah. Okay, but once we inject that, because our application got the route of email controller, but email controller has a dependency of email service which it couldn't resolve because we haven't injected the email service into our request IOC container. Okay, so far so good. Okay.